Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking. It means a lot that you guys keep looking. If you guys keep looking, I'll keep making. And we have a lot to unpack from this episode. My winner picks before episode 3 were Swati and Jenny, and they both just went out back to back. So to say that my power rankings are reeling right now would be an understatement for sure. All right, let's just get right into it. So the episode opens up with a pretty lengthy night scene, which almost spans 5 minutes, where we see Daniel come back and start to realize just how bad he screwed himself at the previous tribal, with Hai saying in his confessional that Daniel has, quote, no backbone, referring to how quickly Daniel turned on Jenny when the vote became deadlocked in order to avoid a rock draw. Chanel argues with Daniel and tells him off, and when Mike and Daniel have a conversation, Daniel admits to Mike that he's just been playing Mike the whole time and said that he, quote, lied a bunch to Mike, causing Mike to no longer want Daniel as an ally. Mike makes a deal with Hai to work with them as a power 3, and by them I mean Hai and Lydia. So it's Mike, Hai, and Lydia right now seemingly in the majority, as Hai seems to genuinely want to keep Mike and wasn't lying to Mike at all. But surprisingly, there was no talk of why both Mike and Chanel didn't vote at the last tribal, as Hai and Lydia were never shown trying to figure out what happened in this scene. And now I'm saying this, and I think maybe Chanel and Mike told Hai and Lydia that they use their shot in the dark, since no one on Vati knows how they work yet. It would be a pretty believable lie. But then we immediately move into a reward challenge for 10 gigantic fish, where Jonathan again asserts his challenge dominance. In this challenge, there's only one winner, so it's not like the immunity challenges where 2 tribes win. It's only one tribe wins the challenge. And as the challenge continues, we see that the Taku tribe, who are working very, very well together in comparison to the other 2 tribes, win the challenge. But before the other 2 tribes can even get out of the first phase of the challenge. And when Jeff gives them their reward, he asks Jonathan about his tribe's dominance, and Jonathan tells Jeff and the rest of the players publicly that his tribe is, quote, very close knit and is a, quote, tight 4, which makes challenges much, much easier. And a comment like this makes Marianne react very negatively with her facial expressions. Then the other 2 tribes, who are visibly upset at the Taku tribe's dominance, give Jonathan backward compliments, such as calling him, quote, unfair, and referring to him as Thor, the Marvel superhero. Very, very passive aggressive stuff. When we get back from the challenge, we see Marianne bring up and also Omar agree that Jonathan put a target on their tribe's back by revealing how close they are in his comments to Jeff and the rest of the players after the challenge, which may hurt them at the merge. Jonathan even acknowledges his mistake but doesn't think much of it. We then move over to the Ika tribe, where we see a montage of Roxroy bossing Romeo around, while Romeo tells us how annoying Roxroy is. We see that Romeo wants to tell Roxroy off, but knows that he can't do that, and that would only hurt his game. We then see Swati saying that she wants to gun for Drea, her target from episode 2. She gets her number 1 ally, Tori, on board with this plan pretty easy, since Tori has no other options. Unless, of course, she wants to go home, as she is the tribe's easy target to go home next. Tori tells us in confessional that as much as she doesn't want to work with Roxroy and dislikes him as well, it makes sense. So, for her to work with Roxroy for her game, and she really doesn't have many options at this point. So Tori goes to Roxroy and tries to pull him in on the Drea blind side. She tells Roxroy that Drea has an extra vote and that they should gun for Drea. Roxroy basically says that he won't even entertain strategy talk or pick sides until they actually lose the immunity challenge and have to go to tribal, and finds that strategizing but before then would be useless. Roxroy then tells us in confessional that he won't be voting with Tori and wants to stick with voting out Tori, like the plan has been since the first boot in Zach happened. Roxroy then tells Drea and Romeo and Swati about Tori telling Roxroy that Drea has an extra vote, and Drea says that she wanted to work with Tori, but now she too will be gunning for Tori at the next tribal council after hearing about Tori gunning for her, and talking to Rockshore about her advantage. Swati says that she will not go down with Tori, and infers to us that she will now also be voting out Tori. The Ika tribe then proceeds to lose the immunity challenge. When we get back to camp, Romeo confronts Tori about her lies, telling her that he had heard about her plan to get out Drea. Tori responds by outing Swati to telling Romeo that Swati told her about the tribe's plan to vote her out next. Romeo acknowledges that Swati is playing harder than the tribe thought. Romeo then sits down with Drea and relays this info to her, with Romeo telling Drea that Swati told him that he was her number one. Drea then responds by noting that Swati told her the exact same thing. We then get flashbacks to both of these occasions, which confirm that they did in fact happen. We then go to Tori, and Tori starts to pile on with them, saying that Swati told her the exact same thing also. We then see a confessional from Swati where she senses a shift in the camp and thinks that Tori may have outed her attempt to blindside Drea to the other people. Before we go to Tribal, we see that Drea is torn between going with Swati or Tori. At Tribal, Swati gets nervous and makes a public plea that puts the blame for Drea's blindside on Tori, which isn't true. Tori then counters this with more therapy Jedi mind tricks, painting Swati's decent lie as BS, and basically shutting down any chance for Swati to survive this Tribal. Swati, rightfully so, plays her shot in the dark, which does not work, and we see Swati go home in a 3-1 vote, with only Rockshway voting for the original target in Tori. A fun episode and definitely a good storyline builder for the looming merge, which should be coming in the week after next week's episode. What did you guys think of this episode? Let me know in the comments. As I always say, none of this happens without you guys. Without you guys, I'm Mr. Weird Guy speaking in a weird microphone. So that's to talk to you guys in the next one. Peace. Also, if you haven't already, check out our Discord server. We have tons of fun over there. We talk about the game, we talk about Big Brother, Amazing Race. Even though I don't watch those shows, I give you guys an opportunity to talk to each other about it and really create an area of discourse where we can all talk about Survivor. There's a lot of big opinions over there, so definitely go check that out. If you want to debate some Survivor or ask me a question, it's all there.